Everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Tech Talks. This week we're going to be going over Syntronik and how to control it in your DAW. We're going to be using MIDI clips and also a MIDI controller and going over how the different parameters and different features can be easily mapped just with a couple of different clicks. Now we're going to be using Ableton Live, and that's going to be our example for the day, but you can use this in any DAW. It's really going to ring true. We're really just using MIDI to control the plugin. Now, at the end of the episode, we will be giving away Minimod, which is an awesome recreation of a Moog synthesizer. Check it out in the custom shop. You can check it out on our website. It is going to be given away completely free at the end of the episode, all for a quick opinion-based question and your IK username. So with that said, take this time to create your IK account if you don't already have one, and we're going to go ahead and get started with our DAW setup. To get started here, we will go under the options section, and on Mac you're going to go under the Live tab. So really you just want to find Preferences, and we're going to go to the Audio tab. Inside here you want to pick your driver type. On Windows you pick ASIO. On Mac you don't really need to worry about that. And then from here you're going to pick your ASIO drivers for whatever device it is. If you did not install your drivers for your audio interface, go ahead and search for those now. If you hear clicks and pops, this could be why. This will help your performance significantly. Now, you don't need to worry too much about your sample rate, but I'm going to be using 48K today. If you do hear clicks and pops and you're recording at 96 or 192, that might be why. Maybe drop it down a little bit for your system. Some systems can really handle that. But there's a lot to be said about when you should be recording in 96K, 48, and any sample rate. So check out Sound on Sound. There's a bunch of great articles on that. I'm just using 48K for today. Now, 128 is going to be our buffer size, and you can adjust that to any size that you really want, but for live playing we're going to use 128 because it's not going to be too latent for me. I'm going to be able to play in here at the same time. If you do hear clicks and pops, you can raise this value up, and if you do hear latency, you can try to lower this back down. Now it is hard for most systems to get down low or below 128 to like a 64-32 buffer size. So you might hear clicks and pops there, but 128 should be fine, 256 should be fine. Realistically, shouldn't be any more latency from your ear to the speaker. Now let's go ahead and jump to the link MIDI, and we're going to go to our keys to MIDI right here, and then we're going to go track on, and that's going to allow us to control anything on this track, and that is all we need to do. Now if you've never used Syntronik in your DAW, you're going to go to plugins and you're going to turn on use VST 3 plugin system folders, right? So you're going to want to turn that on. I don't have a custom plugin folder, but I definitely set it to the C program files anyway, just in case. You don't need to do that, but you can always add a custom folder if you need to, and if you've installed them anywhere. So that's it. That's all we're going to do in audio MIDI setup. And now we're going to jump into Syntronik. So the first thing we're going to do is add the plugin onto the track. And I would suggest using VST if you collaborate, because it goes between Mac and PC. AU when you're on Mac is awesome, but then if you send it to somebody on Windows, it automatically won't see that sound, and they'll have to you'll have to send them your preset, and it'll be a little bit of a mess. So first things first, we have our Syntronik on our track. You notice record arm automatically triggered, but if it's not on, you will not hear audio. So let's just play a note. Cool, so you can hear audio is through. And another way, if you just want to monitor and you're not trying to record, you can press in. Same deal, except we're going to be recording because we want to show off some MIDI stuff. Now let's look at the interface here. And you're going to notice a lot of the different synthesizers have very similar controls. And when you MIDI learn one of them, it does learn to all the other controls when you switch synths. And that is very, very useful for when you're trying to experiment and find a different sound. But another really cool thing to realize is that there's 4 different sounds here. So you can layer up to 4 different synths. They're all going to be on the same MIDI channel, so we don't need to go crazy like we did with Sample Tank 4. But if you did want to load them on 4 different tracks, you can grab Sample Tank 4, load all these exact same sounds. We have a bunch of tech talks on the Sample Tank 4 setup, so that should definitely get you started. If you wanted to go that route, technically you don't need to, and this is because we're going to layer one synth to make a huge sound. We're not going over sound design today, but the setup, so that way we can in the future go over this. So first things first, we're going to record arm. We have sound. We're going to right click to MIDI learn, and we can do this to any different parameter, but I'm going to do it to the cutoff just because it's most noticeable. So once you click MIDI learn and you have MIDI going through your track, you can see MIDI is flowing here, MIDI is flowing up top in the right, and then now my cutoff is being controlled. Right, cool, nice and easy. I didn't have to do any extra steps, just right click MIDI learn. You can always reset that assignment, but let's say I were to switch to another synth. Let's go to the dark drum groove. Just as an example, I'm not going to play any audio, but you're going to see that the cutoff knob for this synth is going to be controlled immediately. And that's going to be really cool when it comes to experimenting. Let's check that out. There you go. So you can see cutoff frequency is saved right there. One really cool thing that is something some people might not notice is that the layers page has multis, and you could save 4 different instruments with different low and high velocity values, which will say when the sound triggers. So if you only want your pads when you're playing really quietly, or you want bass when you're playing super loud, or you want to range the certain notes on your keyboard to only have the highs, play some strings, and maybe you want to have bass on the left side of the keyboard, stuff like that. And all of this saves to a preset, and you can save custom presets. And I'm going to save this right now just to show you guys, if you did recall this, that would be how you recall your MIDI assignment. So now you can see a deep sweeper has now changed. And if I go here and load the default, let's check out our sound. No MIDI control. And if we go to test 1, now we see our MIDI controls there. So that's how you're going to keep your assignments working for you throughout the process. Save them to a multi. So you have 4 different instruments. They're all in the same MIDI channel. This guy will help you control the volume, pan, solo, and really develop your sound for all of this. But when you right click, you also notice there was another menu. The MIDI assignments is going to let you use min and max values, which is really cool for when you say you don't want the cutoff to go all the way down when you turn the knob all the way down. Let's say we want the cutoff to go to 50% when I'm all the way down. We can easily do that. And now you can see at 50% it stops. That's very useful, especially for delay times like feedback and stuff like that. You have a master control volume, which you could just set here. Normally it's on 7 is going to be the usual volume CC, but you can set that to anything. You have vibrato just set automatically to the mod wheel, which I don't have on here, but if I wanted to, I could set this to aftertouch as well. That's kind of cool if you have like a Rolly or anything else like that. You could switch your parts here, and this is all your MIDI assignments for all your parts. Clear them there or in the top right-hand corner. Now, that is all of your MIDI assignments. That's everything that you can really assign in here is going to be right-clickable MIDI learn, and you're going to have it in this menu. So that is the entirety of controlling Syntronik in your DAW. But if you didn't have a MIDI controller, say you wanted to edit your MIDI performance later, let's go ahead and check out how you do that. Let's record a little, just one held out note. Cool, so that was a little bit low because I had that cutoff really low, but let's check this out right where we can see it. Now all I'm gonna do is join this clip, and that's Control J, and that's just to crop it and make it nice and pretty for us to look at essentially. What we're gonna do here is just start our note on the 1 just so we can hear it, and let's loop this guy. It's nice and low sound, so we're not gonna hear too much in the background. Awesome. So let's go here, and it's not, don't worry about the sound. There's nothing interesting going on here. I'm really only focusing on the MIDI. What you're going to see is Control 12 has already been written to, and that is my MIDI. If I wanted to say edit this, and let's have our filter start higher at the very beginning. So there you go. That's quick MIDI editing in Ableton Live. Just double click the clip, and you'll have your clip view at the bottom. It's right here next to this guy. And you can select your envelopes there. And that is going to be how you control Syntronik in your DAW completely, totally. You can do anything that you want there. If you really wanted to, you can even add another MIDI track, assign the output to Syntronik, and record all of your automation on this track using just a MIDI clip. Save it for later, and then maybe experiment with 2 or 3 different versions and get really unique with it. And you don't have to worry about just getting it right the first time. So we've gone over pretty much everything that comes with controlling Syntronik in your DAW. So I think now is time to ask the question to give away our Minimod. So go ahead and throw your answer in the box. It's going to be a little bit differently this week. We're not going to announce the winner live. We're going to announce the winner in the chat box. So go ahead and throw your favorite Syntronik model in the chat box with your username at the end. That's going to be your entry to win Syntronik Minimod, and that is an awesome little module. That's the one that we're using today right here. And if you notice, you don't just get the Minimod. Every user has Syntronik free. If you didn't notice, check out the IK Product Manager for your free demo. But you can go here and you have all of these great effects. These are not limited by any of the versions. If you have one module, if you have free, you have all of the different effects. You have different modulation effects, dynamic controls, distortion, and guess what? All of this stuff, right click, MIDI learn, and we're already good to go. I can then assign the clip automation to make sure it's perfect exactly how I want it, and I'm just controlling it super easily. You can also save your chains of effects like this with the little lock button and then switch through presets. So that way you can maintain control, like I was saying earlier, with your synths and not lose all of your different settings. So this is going to be MIDI control as you're moving. It's going to be like having the instrument there in your hands. And like I said, if you don't have a MIDI controller, you can always use the clip view. Personally, I manually write everything, and that's why I wanted to show you guys this. The envelopes page is very important. If you don't see this automatically, you can open the menus here. This is our MIDI notes, this little notes guy right there, and this is going to be your envelopes, and you can change your MIDI control. Anything with a little red peg already has automation, but let's say I wanted to write new automation. We'll go here. And guys, don't forget to throw your answer in the box. What is your favorite Syntronik module with your IK username at the very end? We're going to announce the winner in the last scene where we say thanks for watching. I'm going to let that play for a little while to let our mod pick our winner. But thank you guys all so much for watching and staying tuned. We appreciate all you guys coming back every week, and it's just been a great experience. Thank you guys so much. So let's go ahead and we'll knock out a couple more things while my mod picks the winner here, and we'll wrap up in say 3 minutes with our winner. So you can see I have, let's delete this guy. You can see I have automatically or manually, definitely not automatically, written in a little curve here. And I just want to MIDI learn this to, let's say, our mix for our reverb. Now, you'd want to do it in context with a mix. It's not going to sound great if you just throw random automation anywhere. I mean, it really could, especially reverb on its own sounds amazing. But you want to use this in context of a mix. And we have a bunch of other great episodes that go over how to really start your mix and move along with T-Racks and Amplitude and different stuff. This is one of my favorite things because you can change it like you had an actual rack. You have super easy controls, and it's all the same or very similar stuff that you had in Sample Tank, which was all really cool sounds. You have all these filters, and that's also all of these filters here are going to be in Sample Tank 4 as effect modules. So you don't miss out by going into Sample Tank 4. If anything, you actually gain a little bit. But if you just want the simplicity of having a nice, simple instrument, 4 layers, big sound, Syntronik is a nice, easy way to go. And don't forget, if you ever have any sound content path or sound content issues, always check this path and make sure the sounds are there. You can always reach out to our support team. We're more than happy to help. You can always rescan your instruments just to see if you've ever installed anything and maybe it didn't pop up immediately. Try that guy. The remote page allows you to browse parts, sounds, and load selected sounds. That's very important. This is going to be automatically set up to work with our iRig Keys 2 Mini, but most controllers are going to want to set that. And the last page, info, is going to be for if you do have to contact support. Like I said, with the library page, this will help them pretty much figure out what's going on there and how they can really help you guys. But you can see right here, I am controlling the scrolling, and I can actually select with my keys too. I never have to touch the computer. It's really, really nice to not have to touch the computer when you don't want to. But let's go ahead and we're going to announce our winner. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to this other scene to let our mod make the announcement. So keep a look on the chat box. That's where you're going to see the winner. And stay tuned for next week. Like and subscribe. Make sure that you guys tune in every week because you're going to get a chance to win some gear. And we're going to make sure that we pick a variation of people. We're not going to pick the same winner and over. So definitely come back and watch. And guys, thank you again for watching already. This has been a pleasure. And congratulations to the winner of the Minimod in just a couple moments. Thank you guys all, and we'll see you next week.